Hello and welcome to video number 4 in my ongoing How I Do My Podcast Thingy series. This one is going to talk about how I work around clicks and pops that occur sometimes in the podcast. Sometimes it's a bad connection. Sometimes it's just some digital stuff that's getting into your signal. However, there's a very simple way to deal with them and get rid of them without really infringing on the audio of the dialogue itself, which is great. Now, what I'm using here, as you see on my screen, I am using RX4 Advanced from iZotope. I believe they're on version 7 right now, but mainly this is what I'm using it for, and it works very well. So I personally haven't need to upgrade, although I hear there's some incredible new features in 7. I have the 7 Lite version, but I do not have the full advanced version of 7. So I'm working with 4. And it still works great for clicks and pops. So what you see on the screen is a bit of the merged audio from my mock call with my friend Jennifer. And what I did is I kind of wanted to create this effect, so I let the computer run a bunch. Normally what I do before I start a show is I do a reboot about 5 minutes before it's time to record. And then only thing I do is load up the template, set up the recording, and get ready to go. So that way I've got a fresh, clean boot. The RAM is as refreshed as it can be. There aren't a bunch of extra processes running from different things that I've done and haven't really fully shut off properly. So I get about the cleanest computer that I possibly can when I'm recording. That being said, there are some times where I've had phone conversations with guests, and for whatever reason, the incoming signal has just tons of cracks and pops in it. This one, I was fortunate enough to be able to create by just letting my computer run, but this isn't normally how you would do it. But if it happens, you've got a way to work around it. So I'm going to play a bit of the audio so you can hear some of the little audio artifacts, as we call them, and you can see what we'll be cleaning up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Jennifer to the show. Jennifer, how are you today? Okay, so there's 3 really big ones I'm hearing in there, especially when I say, Jennifer, how are you doing today? So let's see if you can hear them. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Jennifer to the show. Jennifer, how are you today? Okay, did you hear that? Well, you can't answer me. Here's where they are. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome So there's 2 right there. Gentlemen, let's welcome Gentlemen, let's welcome That it's annoying. You're not going to really want to listen to a podcast that has that running all through the audio. It's going to drive you nuts. And you're really going to lose focus on the important things that the guests are saying or that the host might be saying. So it's important to go with as clean of audio as you can. And here's the 3rd one. How are you today? It's right after I finish saying today. Today. So that's not nice. So let's get rid of that. Let's start with this one because this one's probably the most prominent. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring in the hell, as I like to call it, the sort of fiery backstory to what's going on with the audio here. And everything that you see here, this is the recorded dialogue, anything that came through the microphone. And this is the other stuff, the stuff that you don't necessarily want. But if you take it all out, it can really cloud the sound. So you really don't want to do that. There's only certain things that you're going to want to remove from this. And in this particular case, what we're going to do is we're going to focus in on that last pop that we were just listening to. And I'm going to zoom in on that a little bit. So here's just that little section right here. And visually, I can already see where the pop is, but let's see if it matches up to what we hear. How are you today? How are you today? Yep, there it is right here. This yellow bar right here, that is the click. So what we're going to do is we're going to want to get rid of that. Now, there's a couple different things that you can try. I really like working with denoise. I've been able to take a lot of things out of recordings that have not sounded good by using denoise. And the greatest thing is it has this learn function where you can isolate something and say, I want you to learn this because this is what I want you to remove. And when you test it on this one sample, then you can highlight the entire audio clip, and you can use that same to affect all the clicks and pops that are on it, or all of that artifact that you're trying to remove. And I've been able to get rid of some amazing things. I had one friend that gave me a video where the singer, it sounded like they kept bumping their face on the microphone. So it was causing some really nasty sounds. And it was a live show with a lot of reverb in it. And I thought, well, I don't really know if I'm going to be able to do anything with it, but I'll give it a shot. And sure enough, I was able to pull out those hits and not even affect the reverb of the room of the show. It was very seamless, and I was rather surprised by the results I was able to get. I don't always expect to get that, but I'm amazed at some of the things I've been able to pull off using this amazing tool. So let's dig into this first click. Now, what we want to do is we want to try to get denoise to learn it, but now denoise needs a little bit more room to be able to decipher a lot of times, and this might not be enough. So I've set my size of my tool right here to be a circle this big, and what you're going to do is you're just going to highlight and you're just going to drag to cover the area that you want, and you can see the dotted line around the surface area that I've selected. Now that should do it, and let's see if we can get denoise to actually learn that frequency. Okay, it did not. And what that means is there's not enough signal for denoise to be able to accurately detect what you're trying to do. So when you see these bars without any spikes or anything like I had on the screen before, where you had this little bit of spike here, it's not going to be able to detect. So if you go wider, now you might start picking up some things that you're not intending to remove, and it can get a bit dangerous and unproductive. So instead, I think for what I'll do with this one is I'll use the declick option, which is another great one. And you might be asking me why I didn't use this first. The reason is I like to try the learn function, because if I can isolate the signal, then I can only remove that specific thing that I don't want throughout the entire clip. With declick, it's not as easy because you don't get to verify it ahead of time. So it's a little bit more work to verify that you've got what you want. So now we've still highlighted that same area. And what we're going to do is I've already set this up, but normally what you would do is you would say, what kind of algorithm do you want? You want to remove the clicks, not thumps, not disconnectivity. There's a certain sensitivity level that you can set. I want to be very, very sensitive and really pick up specifically what I want. You have your frequency skew, which I don't think I've ever actually set anything there, and I don't think I've ever set anything with widening because I haven't had to with what I've done. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just give it a quick preview and see how the preview works. Jennifer, how are you today? Jennifer, how are you today? Okay, so we really can't tell from that because the first time the click was there, the second time it gave us a hard stop, which is kind of weird. But I think it did get it because on the second pass, it sounded like it wasn't there. So let's try and we'll just process that one little bit. Just say continue anyway, that's fine. We're just doing this little bit. And now what we want to do is we want to listen to just that. Day. Well, it seems like it's gone to me. Get this out of our way. We'll move back just a little bit more. Now you have to, if you don't want to change the configuration of what you're using, you have to put a little dot here. You're not actually affecting anything, but when you play, it'll stop at the dot. So you want to move the cursor in front of the dot so you can hear the section. Today. Sounds good. Let's go back and see what it was beforehand. Today. All right. So we're going to go back and we're going to redo that section. And as you notice too, all that that bar is gone. That bar that was right here is just gone because we've removed the click. And sometimes you'll see bars that look similar like this one right here, but there's no actual click there, so we know that's not it. It's going to be something that's a little bit more prominent, but it was just that easy to remove the clip. So now what we want to do, we want to, in this program, you would use Control A if you're using this on a Windows system. And now you're going to highlight the whole clip. So you're not just highlighting that one little section that we were working on, you're highlighting the whole clip. And now you're going to go ahead and process that again. And what you're doing now is you're applying that same algorithm to the entire clip. So hopefully those clips, the clicks that we heard at the beginning will now be gone. So let us remove the highlight here with Control D. And we're going to go back to the beginning here. And I always forget where the tool is on this. Okay, it's down here. And the audio looks a little bit different, but let's see how it sounds. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Jennifer to the show. Jennifer, how are you today? Not a single click. It's just that easy. Now, it did affect the audio a little bit. We can fix that with EQ if we need to. Normally, I wouldn't use a merge clip. I would just use whichever line it was coming in on. Typically, it's the guest that has the clicks coming in. So normally, I would just export the audio of the guest and run it through iZotope RX and run those two simulations, or only the one, the spectral, if I could do it on the spectral. But for the clicks, I find that declick actually typically works much better. So you go ahead and process those, and then you export it as a WAV file, and then you re-import it back into your session. The nice thing is that since you're exporting the clip, you should just be able to seamlessly pop it back in, delete the old one, add the new one, and it should line up timing-wise, because you're only you've exported it from your template, and then you've loaded it in here. So you're not changing any times. You're not moving the timing of the clip at all. You're only affecting the audio that's in it. So here you would just go and export the clip out and then load it back into your template. And then you can go back to your editing. So that is how I handle clicks and pops. It seems to work efficiently well. And that's it for this video. So in the next video, we're going to get into editing and exporting and finalizing the audio. See you guys.